Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are going to review a new movie that just came out last month, because this is now we've moved into November.
We're in October still.
No, we're in November.
No.
When this is released, it will be November.
Okay. Yeah, but we're doing it now, a couple of weeks early. But
So it will be November.
It's Alzheimer's.
Yes. So when this comes out, it'll be November, and that means possible new movies to review. So to you guys, we are reviewing the movie that came out last month on the 6th. I think the 6th of October that was released. And
6th of October, yeah.
And it's called Totally Killers.
Totally Killer.
Which was released this year, obviously.
It's a 2023 black comedy slasher film.
Sorry if my friend here has Alzheimer's. He doesn't seem to know when we are moving into the next month.
I keep telling people that we actually do this a couple of weeks ahead. And the only reason I'm saying is we're getting these so new now. Sometimes we get them the same. We did that one the other day, didn't we? We sort of got a preview to it and everything else, and we did it a couple of days later or something or other. But they won't get it for a couple of weeks and stuff. So it's really good though.
I'm trying to get the VHS ones to review.
Yeah, we're still waiting for VHS 85, is it?
Yeah, and we haven't seemed to got it over here.
We haven't got it yet, so we're waiting for it to rear its ugly head.
Yeah. So this movie is a black comedy slasher.
I like slashers,
which is not too bad, and this makes kind of fun of the 80s slasher stuff.
It's not totally comedy though. Okay, there's a little bit of funny bits in it here and there, but to me, it's a seriously good movie with a bit of light-hearted stuff in it to make it a comedy.
Yeah.
How's that? Yeah.
And some of the bits are here and there. Well, apart from its lead character, some of the other people are very unlikable kind of people when you think about it.
I like the nice leading girl.
I know most of you guys, we've been through a lot of unlikable characters, and most of the time we don't exactly cry over who gets killed next. So bear with me, folks. So let's get into the directors, writers, and
stuff.
And maybe not the box office, considering it went to streaming.
No, it's gone straight to Amazon Prime and that sort of places.
Yeah, and just the stars, obviously.
Thanks. Here we go. Right. Produced by Jason Blum from Blumhouse Television. They always turn out a good product.
Sometimes.
Oh, they always do. Yeah, so Jason Blum, Adam Hendricks, and Greg Gilreath. Okay, I think it's the right pronunciation. Directed by, now I'm not 100% how to say this name, and I'm apologising before I say it. It's Nanatska Khan. I think that's the right way to pronounce it, but I could be so wrong. So if I made a mistake there, Mr. Khan, I'm sorry. Now, screenplay, so story was by David Matalon and Sasha Raver. Okay. Now, David Matalon and Sasha did the screenplay along with Jen D'Angelo. Okay. I wish I had some normal names like Smith and Jones and stuff. It just makes it a lot easier for this old timer. Yeah.
Well, you can't pick the names you're born with.
Oh, bugger it. Now, here.
Well, technically, most of them would often have stage names sometimes.
No, they don't always. Like, producers and directors don't have stage names, for crying out loud.
How do you know? Steven
Fat
Spielberg.
Boy Slim or something or other.
How do you know that Steven Spielberg's name isn't what it says to be?
So he's changed his name from Smith to Spielberg?
Well, I didn't say he said Smith. It could have been not Spielberg. He could have been Spineberg. I'm only guessing, and it's the same with...
Hey, it's like in Robin Hood... Men in Tights. Latrine, you changed your name to Latrine. What was it before? Shithouse. Good change.
Yeah, well, excuse us from swearing, guys.
No, that's out of a Mel Brooks movie.
Yes. You don't know who's on this. You don't know who might be on this channel, Mike. So you have to be careful what you say.
Kitties.
So anyway, moving on, to the stars.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Kierman Shipka plays Jamie Hughes.
Yeah.
She's our leading girl. She's really good. I
Yeah,
like her.
she's both in the creepy adventures of Sabrina, the creepy version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch types thing, and she was also in what's it called, that other TV show that she's been in? Never mind, it slipped my mind.
But she reminds you of somebody else too. I know I haven't seen those other shows, but I think there's something about she reminds you of somebody. But if you guys watch it, you know what I mean. She reminds you of somebody. Now, okay, Olivia Holt plays Pam, which is her mother, but her mother when she goes back in time. This is sort of a time sort of thing.
Yeah.
So she plays her mother as a teenager, and a lady called Julie Bowen plays her mother as an adult. Okay, all right. Okay, you get a bit confused here. Now, Charlie Gillespie plays teen Blake Hughes, which is her daddy when he's younger, and Lachlan Munro plays the adult daddy.
Yeah, I've seen him in I think the Charmed ones, the original.
He looks familiar.
Yeah, he was not my favourite character, but aside from that, he's pretty funny.
Now, here we go again. Troy Johnson plays teen Lauren Creston, and Kimberly Huey plays the adult Lauren Creston. Now, most of the other ones are going to be okay now. Liana Liberato plays Tiffany Clark. Kelsey, I think Kelcy Mawema, Mawema, plays Amelia Creston. Steffi Chin Salvo plays Marissa Song. Anna Diaz plays Heather Hendricks. I won't go through all the other ones because it gets complicated. Yeah, adult teenager, for the rest of them.
Why don't you mention the other lead character in this one that we see most of this movie that plays a key part to this movie?
Which one's that one? I got all his names here.
Jonathan. What's his last name?
Smith.
His character's name's Chris. So these guys. No, so he plays a key part to this movie, as you assume we'll see.
Oh, Jonathan Potts.
I know I don't remember it.
He plays adult Chris Dubasage. He's supposed to be a photojournalist, sort of
podcaster.
One of those sort of guys. Yeah, you know, people who do podcasters.
Who's his character is in the shadow of his father, who's a famous reporter. I think.
Yeah, exactly right. And he's always trying to live up to his father, but he's living in his shadow all the time.
Yeah.
How's that grab you? Yeah, I'll leave that because he's sort of important. Yeah, a bit.
Yes. So.
I won't do that. It just gets complicated. Young, old, all the way through. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave that.
I might as well dive into the story, folks.
Wait a minute. What? I was going to say that I don't know anything about the budget. And I don't know anything about box office because I wasn't any. No. And that's about it, I think.
Okay.
You might as well take it away. Actually, there is one thing. The killer wears a mask in this. And if you ever see this movie, I'm trying to figure out who the mask is of. Now, it may be an American person, because obviously it's been in America. I don't, because they do fashion masks off people. To me, it looks a bit like Keith Richards, but it's not Keith Richards. But
it made me think of Donald Trump.
No, it's not Donald Trump. Not that smile.
Well, maybe not. With that smile.
He's wearing, he's wearing his really big grin and stuff. Like Richard Nixon will look like Richard Nixon and stuff, and that sort of stuff. And so Todd Johansson will look like Todd Johansson.
It also makes me think of the Michael Myers mask. You know, the William Shatner mask.
William Shatner mask. Yeah.
Even though he didn't smile,
doesn't look all that much like William Shatner. But anyway, carry on. Tell the story. Get into it.
Might as well go into it. So the story begins in a small town in the middle of gosh knows where.
A town called Vernon.
Vernon, our favourite name. So anyway, our characters are living in an area that's supposedly shadowed with the disappearance of a killer who made his mark back in the 80s.
Yeah, about 35 years earlier.
1987, to be precise.
Yeah, 1987, yeah.
And, of course, the killer has vanished with no trace of where he went to, and that's and that's his story. And of course, it has marked the town. And the guy, Chris, is the podcaster. He's like trying to make it out that it's a real, great, thingy wing that he wants to show off to people. Like it was like. Michael Myers visited this place. What stuff?
Yeah, one of those ghost tour type thing. And here, behind this house here, there was a killing done, and blah blah, and over there.
I should mention
sort of
they
crap,
did do the same thing when it came to Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment complex.
And his home.
Yeah.
Where we grew up.
Well, they become sort of tourist attractions.
Tourist attractions, yeah. A bit morbid, but
yeah, it is morbid, especially to the people who not really appreciate this type of marketing thing.
And stuff don't really appreciate.
Or their families.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Anyway, we then meet our lead protagonist called Jamie, whose mother is overprotective and wants to see her daughter well looked after and not take any risks whatsoever. She even tries to remind her to take pepper spray and remember to
take all the protection you want. Pepper spray, nunchuckers, a machete, condoms. You beat me to it.
Again, she's one of those waspy type mothers in this one.
Waspy?
She's a guidance counselor, so protection matters to her.
Yeah, but she's worried about her daughter because 35 years earlier, the mother and her friends were
stalked
by a killer, you see. A little bit like Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. So she survived and has always been paranoid about Michael Myers coming back.
They call it the Sweet 16 murders, which indicates because the killer has stabbed the victims 16 times.
And I think the girls were in the same class at school, and they might have been all 16 as well. So
yeah, roughly.
Whatever, yeah.
Anyway, so her daughter's going off to a concert by a person she knew. I don't know his name really well. I think his first name's Eddie, obviously.
Eddie Van Halen. No.
Anyway, she goes with her friend, and her father is going there just to, drive them
Make sure they get there safely and stuff. Yeah.
And when they drive them back. And while this is happening, this is taking place during Halloween time, and her mother's at home giving out candy to little kitties, and there she meets a man who wears the same identical mask that the killer wore back in the 1980s, obviously, and he starts attacking her. And Mike and I, we have a theory about this scene. We think that there were two people working in this scene when we think about it.
Not sure, because we're going, but see, in the current period, all right,
I'm listening.
I think it was a journalist guy in his older form. The blog guy. I think he did it to keep the spirit of the killings alive, because he was making money out of it.
Well, thanks for revealing the very big spoiler, Mike. I was going to say that to the end.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
That's okay.
Anyway, ignore this fact, guys.
I didn't say anything.
Don't listen to this crazy person.
But you had a theory about two people. No, only one person at the beginning.
Anyway, I think that there is more than one person doing this particular killing spree, because he goes out front, like he goes to the front door, and then a few seconds go by, and the killer appears behind her. And I've seen the house. It's not like he can jump over a fence and rush across the grounds and just get to the other side that quickly. There is no way unless someone opened the door for him and unlocked the gate.
Gate might have been open.
Maybe.
Anyway,
it's just impossible. Anyway, she dies, and trick-or-treaters notice her body. I'm amazed in this scene that, seeing as it's Halloween, that they didn't mistook her for a fake body. But they said they just go off and scream and run across the street. And then we get a title card. total killers. Killer, I should say. Anyway, then we cross over to the next day not the next day. We see the police arrive there and they take the usual crime scene photos. The usual, interviewees are there, including the podcaster who goes on about after so many years, the slasher killer has returned. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway,
blah, blah, blah.
Then the principal and the police lady, I should say, who's the sheriff, and I guess the coach are there to talk to their students about the previous incident and how they're trying to comfort the students, including Jamie. Jamie is upset because she felt bad about what she said to her mother earlier because she thought she was being overprotective and overdoing it a bit. But of course, they approach after the school class has ended. The principal, the sheriff, approach her, and the sheriff interrogates her bluntly by saying, "What was your father doing, at the time of the murder?" And of course, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't go on to explain that her father was probably out in the parking lot, probably playing a video game.
A video game on his phone or something.
Or something.
What everyone does.
Yeah, or Sudoku, like my dad does.
I do Sudoku all the time.
Yeah.
And solitaire, and mahjong, and whatever. Yeah, all the good stuff.
The policeman goes on to explain that Chris and her have been texting one another, and whether or not Chris and Jamie's mum had an affair. Of course, Jamie says, this can't be. And she goes, and the police chief gets all a little overdoing it with the interrogation until Jamie says, "I don't know what you got against my dad, but get over it. Get over your issues." Anyway, she walks off, and then later on, she's meets up with a friend who's making a special time machine at this abandoned amusement park where they're having the science fair right
there.
there.
The science fair at the event. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What a great place to have it.
According to them, they said this fairgrounds is haunted. And it got me thinking of another haunting that happened in a real time machine related movie. I won't go into details just yet, obviously. So she goes on to explain that she's trying to figure out how to make it work. Because these are notes from her mother. Her mother was a bit of a science major, too.
Yes, they're very smart young ladies, yes.
Yes. Anyway, so she's listening. Later on, she's in a room listening to the podcasts, Chris's podcasts, and she talks to her dad about Chris. And of course, the dad says no, they weren't friends. He was probably nosing around, probably asking for an interview. But she probably told him to go away. And
he's infatuated with her, possibly.
Yeah, of course. Jamie's dad tells her to stay away from him, but of course we find out that she meets him, and he gives her a note that her mother got way back when she was a kid.
Well, that's what he says anyway.
Yeah, which says, "I'm coming for you someday."
Exactly. Yeah, come for you someday.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're next.
You're next.
One day.
Yeah, anyway, it's an old note.
Well, it looks like an old note.
Looks like an old note.
So there's no reason to think otherwise.
Anyway, soon, so she meets up with her friend again at the amusement park, and there she gets chased down by the slasher killer, and she hides in the photo booth, which is the time machine her friend is working on. And the slasher tries to stab her, but then he activates the machine.
He's trying to stab her, and the dagger goes into the front panel, which actually shorts it out somehow or other.
Yeah.
And it brings another concept into the circuitry, and all of a sudden the time machine does actually work.
I should mention the time machine details on there have the year and of the murders and the date.
35 years ago,
Yeah.
Because the girl putting together was, she thought if it would really go back, it would be good to go back there and stop the killings.
Yeah. She travels back in time, back to the 1987, to be precise, and Well, she's at the theme park and it's jumping, obviously. A lot of kids, a lot of adults, and a lot of excitement. Of course, and she quickly hangs, out of order sign too, so that people won't enter the time machine.
And what didn't take photographs real good, and it was broken, had the dagger sticking out of it.
Yeah, she quickly she gets a lift by a woman who's smoking, I guess, which is really funny. This scene, to be honest.
Yeah, everyone's smoking weed and stuff in this movie. It's really good.
Yeah,
even the police. Not police. They're one of the girls who becomes a policeman later on. She's actually in it really heavy.
Yeah.
It's
now
really
I'm gonna when they get to the school, it's called. Well, the mascot in this one is called the Red Devils. I should mention, guys, that in several of these movies, these teen movies, they always seem to use the Red Devil as their mascot. You know that, Mike?
I haven't noticed, but thank you for bringing that little Easter egg up to my attention. Yes.
I don't know if this is another red herring or just another...
or maybe it's sort of like every time Joshua Kennedy does something, it's always Pace University. Now, whether it's just a fake sign or it's really a place called Pace University, I've got no idea.
Well, that's different, considering the fact this is an ongoing thing that keeps popping up in this teen movie type things.
And I just said, and everything Joshua Kennedy does has Pace University in it.
Well, that doesn't help. That helps because he was studying at the university at some point in his life. Anyway, she reassigned. She kind of enrolls at this in this high school, and of course things are not. They're laid back when you think about it, right?
Compared to what she's used to, everything's so laid back and casual. Even the teachers and the admin staff are there.
Yeah.
What are you? And the police is so. What are you doing? Where I come from, you wouldn't get away with this crap.
Yeah, see, back then, the security and stuff like that would not be secured enough.
Yeah, what you get knowledge today, yeah.
And it's usually what's advanced warnings for people years later when they must sort of tighten things up in the industry and to protect the people, the public.
Yeah, the public and the kiddies at school and all the other good groovy stuff, yeah.
I told Mike this the other day about how years ago a famous actress got murdered and the person approached a detective and the detective approached the people who would often give you details of their addresses and phone numbers. And that person went to her house and killed her, obviously. I should have... It was indicated back then that security was not tight, and when they decided then there at the time, we should definitely tighten our security and not release such details to the public.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how much they beg. And
please, come give us one, come on.
No.
No.
Anyway, so moving on, she is then enrolled in the school, and she's told you have gym at next period, and she's not thrilled about it. And what student is not interested in gym? I never liked
any physical activity. Actually, I was a permanent protester. I refused to participate. I mean, anything that said you have to do it, I said, nah. I'm not going to do it. So I didn't play football. I didn't go on sports carnivals. I didn't go on swimming carnivals. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Because I was one of those anti-establishment sort of kids. So I
was just the same, guys. Because when I was young, I didn't like the swimming carnivals, but we were forced to actually watch. And we had to stay there all afternoon being bored and not cheering for our team.
I cheated. When it's football season on Friday afternoons, so you can't just hang around doing nothing. You go sit in the classroom here and study. I did my homework for the weekend on the Friday afternoon while all the kids running around playing football.
Yeah.
I didn't have any homework on the weekend because it was all done.
Okay, moving on. So she goes to gym and she wears those very short shorts.
Oh, yes, training shorts, yeah.
Yeah, and they start doing dodgeball, and it becomes like a war zone.
Oh, you're not wrong, actually. That's been banned, that thing.
It was dangerous. Everyone was practically throwing the ball, probably breaking jaws, breaking teeth.
Breaking nose, bloody nose. It wasn't fun.
No.
That's supposed to be fun?
Yeah.
Team building experience? Not.
Yeah. Usually we often tap each other's legs nowadays. But then again, I don't know what it's like now, obviously. Anyway, she asks one of the students where she can find Pam. And we find out Pamela is actually part of the Mollies, a sort of clique group.
A cliquey little group.
Mean girl group.
Yeah, exactly right. She never thought her mother was a mean girl type.
Yeah, she assumed her mother would be a cool, calm, collect person, but it turns out she belongs to an evil clique who likes fancy dresses, being mean to people,
snobby,
and
teasing people,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the good teenage crap,
And of course, when she approaches her, she and her clique don't even want to even so much as make eye contact with her.
You're from Canada. She said she was from some school in Canada, and they had nothing to do with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyway, they all dress. The reason they're called the Mollies is because, what was it the term was?
Wasn't the Babysitters Club or something or other, wasn't there? Or one of those sort of things?
They said something about one of their a famous actress they modelled after.
Yeah,
I think.
who was in the Babysitter Club or something or other, one of those sort of things, and they adored her, so they dressed up like her.
I don't know.
That's what the story was. That's where the Mollies came from, if you paid attention.
Well, sorry, I didn't pay attention to that part. Anyway, so she realizes that she cannot talk to her, so she talks to someone that used to be her mother's friend, I think called and her friend's mother, who was probably around back then. Her name is what's her name? Laura?
What?
Laurie? Lorraine?
Who?
Lorraine?
Where are you?
I'm talking about Lorraine, the girl who's a science major, yada yada yada.
Yeah, I just trying to look. It was Amelia's mum, was it?
Yeah.
That would have. Was it Kimberly? Not Kimberly. I mean Lauren. Yeah, Laurie. Yeah, Laurie Creston. Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren Creston.
Laurie,
so
the
she
daughter of
approached
Amelia,
her, and she kind of asked several people the same thing. Did you ever see Back to the Future? Seeing as it was around back in 1985, so people would have naturally have seen the movie. Maybe.
We're not in that sort of movie.
Yeah. She's actually approached the sheriff, the current sheriff in this timeline, and he says that he heard of the movie, but he never watched it.
He doesn't like sci-fi. Yeah.
Not everyone liked it, or maybe not everyone watched it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lauren tells her, yes, she's seen this, Back to the Future, and Jamie goes on to explain about her notebook, that she kept all these notes about her time machine, and how her daughter has built it. And
then she must have been telling the truth, because she probably didn't tell anybody about the notebook.
Yeah. Lauren kind of believes her and says that she'll be glad to help her, and they become good friends, which is good.
Besties.
Yeah, and of course she stays at her place because she has no place to go. So
she can't go home, can she?
No.
Wasn't it?
She can't really go to her mother's place either, because they're not friends. Anyway, she makes a plan of going to the first place that's going to take place of the murder. This one is at a party, and her and Lorraine, they try to go into it, but unfortunately a lot of people don't want her to come in there. One particular person is the sheriff's daughter, who's going to grow up to be the sheriff and stuff like that. She looks great here, but I gotta admit, it's such a tragedy that she's going to grow up to be...
Is it the one who's got the short hair?
Yeah.
Later on,
Yeah, I liked it when she traumatized the poor girl by saying, you are going to be old and sporting an ugly haircut.
Yes. She kept telling everybody, I'm psychic, I see things and whatever, because it's very hard to tell them I came from the future. So
she tries to talk to the Mollies a couple of times, but most of them say, they don't want to talk to her. And of course, we also run into Chris, who's taking their photos, and we also meet Blake, who's going to be, Jamie's father in the future.
He looks pretty hot.
He's pretty cute. He's got a big
six-pack,
where her dad, the adult dad, explained that he had a six-pack back when he was younger.
Yeah, when he's young, he's very funny. Oh my God, middle-aged spread.
Yeah, Jamie was pretty taken by him, even though she finds out his name's Blake and realized, oh my gosh, that's my dad.
Yeah.
And her dad wasn't kidding about the six-pack.
I looked pretty good when I was 16 too. Mm-hmm. Now I'm 70 next birthday, and I don't look anywhere near as good. No.
Anyway, she, of course, So Blake is actually dating her, Pam's friend. and Tiffany, I think her name is. I think her name's Tiffany.
I think so, yeah.
And, of course, they have an on-again, off-again relationship. The usual stuff you see on TV.
And happens say, hey, don't worry, you'll end up with him later on, Blake. Really? Me and Blake?
Yeah, she said that she had a crush on him. But I think everyone has a crush on each other.
Oh, look, he had long hair and he had a nice body fit.
Yeah.
Was he a football team? No,
No.
He just fit.
He's just done one of those
athletic types.
Nice guys.
Nice bod. Yeah, look, the girls are very attractive to the girls. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so she tries to stop any of them to disappear, but unfortunately, when Tiffany breaks up with Blake, or Blake breaks up with her because he found out she was cheating on him for Eddie, and a bit of a band, garage band type kid, and that's the guy I told you about who's going to be, when he grows up, he'll become a famous rock star musician guy.
The funny part is she's trying to stop her friends from being killed. So every time she tries to do something, she said, "Oh, this is going to happen tonight." It doesn't actually happen the way it's supposed to either.
Yeah.
So something's changing in the timeline, isn't it?
Yeah. And Tiffany gets excited by the idea that Eddie will grow up to be famous, so she plans on going and nailing the guy, and in hopes of possibly getting a song sung, named after her or sung by her. Anyway, while they're doing it, he wants to, go further than that, but she says, "No, I don't do it that way." And she goes to the bathroom, and she thinks that they're going to go to the next level, but Eddie kind of leaves, and then she heads into the bedroom, and this is her parents' bedroom, I should mention, guys.
Naughty.
It's a waterbed, which is even more fun.
Oh, yeah. Remember those?
Nice.
They're bad for your back, honestly, really.
Yeah. I remember my aunt and uncle had a waterbed. I used to jump on it when I visited it, obviously, for fun.
You know what? The doctors say you shouldn't sleep in those.
Well, actually, I didn't jump on it. I just enjoyed, bobbing from side to side. Like it was a jumping castle.
You get seasick and that. No.
It was like a jumping castle, but in a fun way. Anyway, we then see the killer is in her closet, and then he starts attacking her, and Jamie tries to find her, but she kind of gets the wrong direction, because it was originally going to be in the garage that she's murdered, but she's actually murdered in her parents' bedroom now.
See, things were changing a tad.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but it's getting totally confused now.
The police arrive, and they say, "No one to leave this area. We want to question people, blah, blah, blah." But everyone starts to sneak away.
They sneaked away really quickly.
Yeah.
Sneaked away? No,
yeah.
snuck.
Pam and Laura and
away.
Jamie, they walk together, and there she goes. Jamie tells her a lie, saying she's psychic and she is meant to help her and her friends.
Exactly.
Of course, as they head home, they're watching TV, and she asks them about, will robots kill us in the future? Considering they're watching old 80s movies.
Yeah, I think not Terminator. Yeah,
like
Terminator.
What was it? Empire Strikes Back. I think there was Jaws. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. There's a lot of 80s famous movies in there, cult classic type stuff that you may have watched 100 times, but can't remember the names. But actually, that's not true. I mean, it's a cult classic, everyone will know its name. Anyway.
Yeah, that one.
So
Space Bears.
She.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
And then Boss Strikes Back, I think. Yeah,
sorry, guys. Yeah. He's not with it anyway. We then cross over to the future, where people are trying to piece together what happened to Jamie. Of course, her friend explains that she got into a time machine and went to the past. And, of course, no one believed her. No dice.
Would you? No.
Yeah. Of course, some of the information that the podcaster and her find, they find the information changed. Like, now the photos that are about the murder that Tiffany took place, the photos are different, and because we see his photos from the party, Jamie's face is among them, and this is where Amelia starts realizing, oh my gosh, the time machine works. Now she has to work out another time machine, try to get to the past, and try to
make another one.
Yeah, and so she starts building it using a video game arcade game.
Yeah, you're like a racing car, arcade sort of game. It needs a power source. Yeah.
Jamie also leaves a message, in the past that says, "Stab the machine with a J," and of course, Chris says, "Are you sure this is not a satanic symbol?"
Yeah.
Good grief! Can someone give this guy
and then she realised, they needed that. What's he called?
A metal conductor thing.
Yeah, like that, to help it work. And it did, obviously.
Yeah. So, anyway, we get back to the present, and the girls making plans of actually doing a bit of a birthday celebration with one of their friends. Of course, Jamie butts in and tells them, "Why don't we have a party in the city?
Away from away from loneliness and with a big crowd around us."
Yeah, away from any cabins in the woods.
And one of the girls actually says, "Oh,
I have a condo.
We can stay at my parents' condo." Now, as everyone knows, a condo was we call them a home unit, unit, apartment, whatever. And she called it the condo. And then our little girl falls asleep in the car and she wakes up. They're at the cabin.
Cabin in the woods,
she said,
folks.
Old timeshare, condo, same thing, isn't it?
No.
Oh, Lord. So they're exactly where they're supposed to be for the next killing.
Yeah. See, the next killing takes place in exactly where Mike said.
At the cabin in the woods.
Yeah. This, as I said before, guys, this sort of takes makes fun of slashes, like in the whole cabin in the woods, or it takes place in a party. This is all references from movies like that.
A couple of Easter eggs thrown in, just
little Easter eggs.
No chocolate, just Easter eggs.
Anyway, they're about to leave, but then other people arrive. Blake and that weird guy who's going to grow up to be the coach, and the girl who's going to be the sheriff, obviously his daughter.
Oh yeah. She made the hash brownies, didn't she?
Yeah.
Really good too.
Yeah.
Staying off at that.
Yeah. If you haven't worked it out, guys, back in those days they often made hash browns.
Tell you what, I wouldn't want some hash browns myself. Yeah.
Using marijuana or drugs.
Yeah. You put a pound of stuff in there, you make them all up, and
yeah,
you get off your face.
Yeah. While Jamie tries to be the grown up here, they trying to get them to stay together, try to be responsible, blah blah blah. But they all say, "Let's go jump into the jacuzzi, everyone."
Let's go naked, yay, whatever. And they do go naked, I think.
Oh yeah, they go outside, and as they're doing it, they are eating the brownies, and of course
drinking vodka.
Yeah,
Lord, you do not drink alcohol and do cannabis at the same time.
Why is that?
It increases the effect.
Oh yeah.
You get off your tits.
I'm guessing that's why Jamie here is still a little bit, she, even though she had a few brownies.
She had about 5 of these cannabis hash brownies, cannabis brownies, whatever.
Yeah.
And the
she's
girls
still
laughing.
sober.
5 of it.
Yeah. She should have realised that back in the 80s they did do that.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of stuff back in those days.
Yeah. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised you can't really taste the taste.
Well, you can a little bit, but if you got all these other things like your chocolate and your sugar and other flavours.
Now, chocolate, that's addictive, folks.
Yeah, but it would mask some of the flavour. You believe me.
Yes. Anyway, she then goes and tries to tell them that there's pizza inside, and what better thing than brownies are? Pizza in the 80s.
You're going to taste the munchies. Now, here's the funny part. They're out in the woods.
Yes.
And Pizza Hut don't deliver out in the woods.
No.
And no one went in the kitchen making the pizzas. You would think that these people would feed... Well, where'd the pizzas come from? No, they just presumed, pizzas.
Yeah.
And again, they can't find it, so they start searching the house for the pizzas.
Yeah.
They must have been stoned off their faces.
Jamie is locked outside by the jerk, Lurch. Well, not Lurch, obviously. The jerk of jocks. In his case, he's a jock, a jerk. Because he's all about, I'm getting horny, blah, 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 crap.
He's a bit over the top.
He's a total jerk.
No, he's over the top. I mean, they do that sometimes, but it's, I think it's funny. I think it's ridiculously mature. But
Anyway, it's an ongoing 80s thing, whatever. Anyway, so as they're they're searching for the pizzas. Jamie notices the slasher killer up in one of the windows, and she tries to get everyone's attention by rat-tatting on the window, saying, "There's someone at the door window."
They said, "There's somebody in the house." She says, "No, I'm in here." Oh Lord!
Someone get
a gun and shoot me now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Pam and Blake, even though they didn't realize they couldn't find a pizza, they tried to make their own pizza using bits,
whatever they can find.
Yeah. And while she's slicing into an apple, she accidentally slices into her hand.
Or finger or hand, whatever. We didn't quite see it, but there's blood all over the place. And he's trying to fix up for her. He's a nice boy.
Both girls are separated from, one of the girls is making some cocktails using the vodka, while another girl is sort of, I guess, passed out, and the killer is about to approach her. And of course, all the time, Jamie's trying to alert her attention. There's a killer standing over you. Wake up, sort of thing. But she doesn't listen. And then she goes to the next room where her mother and father are about to get it on, and then they start hearing the girl screams, and you know what their instincts was? They actually decide to barricade the door, not to help their friend.
Yeah, well, that's safety, yeah.
Anyway, they notice Jamie, and they allow her to get inside. And of course, while this is happening, they spot her friend, who's actually, she falls from the second story. I mean, it was the third story, and falls down the stairs and breaks her bones.
Did she break a leg or twist her? She
couldn't walk anyway. Her leg, and she ends up being killed by the killer.
On the floor.
And then later on, the killer tries to approach them, but luckily enough, they kind of fight him off. Of course, they get a few broken rib cages and broken bones, but eventually, Jamie was able to get a blood sample, but these people seem to not know what a DNA is.
Yeah, back in those days, the police didn't do DNA samples.
Yeah.
When was... Yeah. I don't know. Don't ask me when they started doing those things.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Anyway, they don't seem to understand that language, and then they go on to explain that they start suspecting one of them, obviously. They start thinking that it's possibly the sheriff's daughter. They start suspecting the sheriff's daughter because they wonder, where was she when all this was happening? Of course, she says that her dad backs her up, saying that her daughter is a good girl. Well, if that's the case, why did she bring the brownies?
Because she's a good girl, hey?
Anyway.
See, someone's got to bring it. So you got the contacts.
Anyway.
Evidence room.
Yeah, so... just so you guys know, the time machine, the photo booth, is not working well. They need a stronger power source.
Yeah, so they find another ride to set it up in.
Yeah, it turns out to be the quantum drop, I think.
Quantum drop. It's not like one of the things that spins around, you get stuck to the wall. Yeah.
I remember not exactly going on a similar ride like that, but I went on a ride like that with my niece, and we had a fun time. It was really great, really. I mean, I took some video footage of that night. It was really fun.
Our little one, she's so gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm amazed my niece didn't get scared.
So cute and so deadly. No.
Don't go there.
Black Widow? No.
Anyway, soon enough, they realise that the next killing will take place inside the carnival. I mean, the fairgrounds. Yes. And it takes place on Halloween, well, not on Halloween, it was just somewhere in October, obviously. Actually, near on Halloween, duh. And it's the final girl, and they realize now that the slight changes, because this last girl, it was meant for the other girl who was making the cocktails to be killed, but it turns out they're switching the body count around.
Yeah, the timeline's been changed somehow, rather maybe because the other girl's there. Something's gone wrong, but everything she thinks is going to happen happens a bit differently or to somebody else.
And according to Jamie, she wants us to know if her parents got together, will something change? Like, would she fade out of existence? This is another reference from Back to the Future. where, if your parents didn't go meet, then
you wouldn't exist.
Yes. According to the girl, she says, no, that wouldn't happen. That was Back to the Future's first mistake, according to her. She says that you'll just return to your time, but they won't have any memory of you.
You wouldn't exist there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll just be
another person just hanging around.
Yeah. So anyway, now that they arrange a plan of trying to trap the killer inside a special haunted house. Not haunted house, like as in sort of like a ghost train or haunted house.
No, it's all as you walk through it. Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the horror mazes we have in the
it's a bit like
over
that,
here
but
now. Yeah. But back then we didn't have those back in the day.
It's a bit like a horror maze, but it's a bit like somewhere in between a haunted house and a horror maze. Yeah, something like that. Carry on.
Yes.
We're running out of time here.
So they decide to have her go in there while they try to...
And they hide in there.
Hide in there. Using costumes and stuff masks and stuff.
To make it look like the part of the attraction.
Yeah.
Aha.
She goes in there, and as she's walking, you notice the killer approaching. And we also see some of the kids, dressed in their costumes. Because I kind of recognized one of the guys who was was nasty to Jamie earlier. Who's that guy, the jerk jock, who you can actually recognize him right away. Anyway, so as he's about to make his plan of striking, they spring into action and start attacking full force.
And they work well.
Yeah. Also, I should mention the girl who's the sheriff's daughter. She also appears in the mix. She's dressed as a Grim Reaper, and she's also carrying a real serious
scythe.
Meaning, I thought it was a toy one for a while.
The plastic ones you get, this is a real one.
And of course, he dies, and then we do the ultimate mask reveal, and we see
let's go back. They get him, they stab, the killer is trying to kill someone, and she gets the scythe, and she plants it straight through his back, and it comes out his chest.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And then they ask, where did you get that from? Oh, my dad gave it to me.
Yeah. He says there's a killer on the roof. Blah.
Anyway, they demask him.
They demask him, and we find it's the nerdy guy, Doug. So you guys know, Doug did this because to take revenge on the people who bullied her.
His sister.
His girlfriend.
His girlfriend, yeah.
See,
that's right,
Doug's girlfriend was Trish, who was a sister to, what's his name? Lurch. I mean, a kid who's nicknamed Lurch because of his obsessive. He's kind of the weird, quiet kid. The guy. He's the red herring in this movie.
Okay, yeah.
And for a while, he was most likely the killer for a while. But no, it turns out he knew that Eddie was not the one who was the killer because he actually was talking to Ed during the party, and they both discussed how he didn't want to do it with her because she didn't want to, do it with him.
Okay, do you want to move on? We're running out of time again.
Then we learned that Trish took her life. I think she took her life, and now Doug is now taking his anger out on the people who bullied her and stuff like that.
Which would be the Mollies.
Yeah, and we learned that because at the time when she was getting bullied, Pam was not present. So it was all her free friends. So she was not part of the equation in that time. Anyway, but soon enough, another killer appears, and we realize, oh my gosh, what has just happened? And then we find out in the present that Amelia, who was working with Chris to solve the case, he killed her, I think, and he stole the time machine, and gone back to the past to kill Jamie and Pam and anyone else I could think of. Actually, his father, who we might find out later on when they were running away from the killer, that he got killed, during a broadcast. I think that's the word.
He killed his own father because he hated his father.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. They then
go back in time and kill Dad.
They quickly head to the quadrum drop, and as they're assembling the last bits to the time machine, her friend goes on to explain, you must stay in the center where the control panel is, And
that's where the EMF and stuff is. Yeah.
If you stand outside it, you probably evaporate or aged. I don't know.
Or do something.
Anyway, so as she's about to leave, she gives her. Jamie gives her her mother's jacket because she was wearing it throughout this movie, I should mention. And then the killer appears and he starts trying to get to her friend, Lorraine, but fortunately she gets out in time. And then he's about to kill Jamie, but luckily enough Pam appears and she goes on to explain that she figures that she remembers what Jamie tells her about how an important moment will happen during the quadrum drop, and she goes on to, and Jamie says, "This is the second time. This is going to be the first time they've been close for a moment." But Jamie explains this is going to be the second time we'll be on the quadrum drop, because indicating that she will give birth to Jamie. Actually, that she'd be pregnant with Jamie at the time when she was doing this ride. Wouldn't you say, Mike? Considering she was
probably. This thing is a bit confusing.
Yeah. Anyway, the girls fight the killer, but luckily enough, even before he starts stabbing into Pam, I think he just gives her a nasty cut. But luckily enough, Jamie was able to send her mother out of the ride before it got nasty. And then we see the mask ripped away from his face, and we see that it's Chris, the podcaster. He reveals that he wanted to kill his father because he was jealous of being not in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And thinks this will be great content now that he's.
Yeah.
And he thinks he wants to make this legendary killer into Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees.
And he sort of admitted that he killed
He killed Pam in the present, and he's now going to try to kill Jamie. And of course, she goes on to explain, "You are not going to get back to the present anytime soon, folk." Anyway, soon enough, she fights him off, and
he goes poof.
Yes, he gets a few nail gun.
Yeah, he had a nail gun with it because I was using a nail gun.
Yeah.
In this ride when I put the thing together, and she had it there, and she went bang, 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 and shot him in the chest a few times.
Then he evaporates. Yes,
he pulverizes. Yeah,
we then listen to some words from previously from as the time machine twirls to the present, and then it eventually stops on the time that she must arrive
in the old abandoned amusement park. Yeah.
And of course, the time was set sort of the day her mother Pam got murdered. Obviously, of course, once she arrives back, it's still abandoned amusement park. I should mention that maybe this part with the quadrum jump may have gotten people thinking it was haunted after all this time. The whole...
I don't know.
The
possibly.
Noises, the sparks, the weird stuff. And
I would say so.
Yeah. It's sort of the same thing with the time machine, the one that goes back many years ago.
The one of Rod Taylor. They thought the house was haunted because they could actually hear things going through the house. But that was the time machine travelling.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so she arrives back at her home. It's Halloween time again.
And Mum's alive.
Her mum and Blake are there, and she embraces them. Her friend Amelia is alive, and so you guys know this is a new timeline. Mike here was trying to work out how does this new timeline work. Obviously,
well, I was trying to work it out a little bit, and we worked out dates and everything. But
I told him, explain to him that the Chris we saw that got killed is not the same Chris that probably was the young Chris we saw in the 1980s. Obviously, so the Chris who witnessed his father being murdered, the young Chris, would grow up to be different.
Yes.
He won't be a podcaster. He would be
exactly
something else. Anyway, Lauren takes her aside and explains the situation. And she even bought a gun.
And she also had a list of things you need to be aware of. Like,
She also brought with her a gun, so that she knows. She wasn't sure who was going to come out of the machine alive, obviously.
Yeah, but it's a part, she says, a guy walks up to the house. By the way, a few things. That's your older brother.
Yes. It seems that her mum, Pam, and Blake, they got together in high school.
Very much together in high school, and she had a teenage pregnancy.
Yes. Anyway, so He's like in his 30s, like 34.
He's about 20 years older than her.
Wow. And then we realize that she has lots of reading to catch up to. So she finds out that she's become a engineer.
Her is the mother?
Yeah.
For her friend's mother, who helped her in the past, become a bioengineer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one of the good ones, according to her.
One of the good ones, yeah.
And her daughter is still friends with Amelia and a genius, which means that she'll inherit her mother's genes.
And she'll be, all genes, the genius and stuff. Yeah.
And then we find out that her boyfriend, who's currently named Jamie in this timeline, her name is a different name, I think, in Mike's details here. Let me see. Oh, it's not listed here.
It's not listed, no. But I think she's got a different name.
Yeah, she has a different name now that the time's changed slightly.
Yeah.
And then...
Your name is now so-and-so.
Yeah. And also let me see. Chris, in this timeline, he's now, since the timely death of his father, he's now gone on to be a monk in India, I think it is.
Yeah, he's doing meditation in India or somewhere for monks and stuff.
Yeah.
But she said, her friend says, I'm keeping an eye on him just in case.
Yeah. If he found out who his father was murdered by, he probably would...
That'd really screw your head up. Yeah,
that would screw your head up, literally.
Really, yeah.
Yes. Anyway. And let me see, who else? Oh, yeah, the sheriff, the current sheriff.
The girl who was the brownie queen of all that hash.
She made drug, whatever, illegal.
No. Aren't you glad the cannabis is legal now?
Ah, great.
Yippee. But she still had a bad haircut.
Yeah, the worst. And the guy, the jock in the past, who becomes the coach in the previous modern present guy, is now become the principal in this new timeline.
Yeah.
And the guy, Lurch, who was a bit of a quiet, geeky
Weird
guy. He goes on to manage his own video game company.
Yeah, like Sega or that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And I think that's everything I've covered.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so. Anyway, so that's everything I've so far covered. And everything. So that's totally killer.
It was not a bad film, and it's refreshing to get a slightly different take on some of these sort of things. The time travelling was interesting. It was good. It worked in quite nicely.
Yeah.
Now, we had a couple of review things. I haven't got many since they just come out. Okay. However, here we go. And remember, we're doing this podcast only a couple of days after it actually was released. Okay.
Weeks.
No. I just said we're doing it now. Only a couple of days after it was released. Okay. You're hearing a couple of weeks later. But this is only out for a couple of days. But here are the reviews already.
Okay, let's have a look. Or listen.
Rotten Tomatoes, 87% out of 76 critiques.
Whoa.
In only a few days. And they're all positive. Well, most of them positive. With an average rating, yada, yada, yada. And the consensus is, totally killer, may not take full advantage of its promising conceit, whatever that is. I mean, I thought it's concept, but anyway. But this time-travelling horror sci-fi mashup is still enjoyable overall. Metacritic gives the weighted average of whatever, blah, 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 63 out of 100, based on 15 critics indicating generally favourable reviews. I don't have any other ones, but that's only after a couple of days after it came out. Now, that's several weeks ago now, when you're hearing it. It's probably changed a lot.
Yeah, I did like the 80s period in this one.
Actually, it was toned down. It was still funny and a bit over the top in little bits, but it wasn't over the top like some of the movies. They'd make them really, really, really over the top weird. No, they made them like normal people, which was really refreshing. Because sometimes they do it over the top.
They do dramatise it a
little. No, they make them too weird, too druggy, too strange, and whatever. We weren't like that, really. I grew up through that period, and we weren't that bad, honestly. Anyway, here we go. The usual bits. Amazon Prime, you can rent it only through there at the moment as I'm speaking. However, things might change. Amazon doesn't have it for sale as at now. It may have it when you're listening to it. eBay already has it for sale. So other places may have it as well by the time you hear the podcast. But no, this is a good film. not necessarily 100%, but I'm going to grade it a 9.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I like the story, guys, and I like the I like the fact. Well, it's not as good as Final Girls or that freaky new movie that came out not too long ago about that's sort of like Freaky Friday, but with slasher killers and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, Mike. Maybe not.
I think you mentioned it, but I don't think I've seen it. Yeah.
Anyway, and, well, I just think I don't think it measures up when I think about that one. Anyway, so I'm going to rate it. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 myself.
Yeah, but I reckon the girl, the lead, what's the name again? Kiernan Shipka, she does a really good job of this.
Yeah,
I like it. I look at this. She's interesting, and she reminds me of. And I can't put my finger on who she reminds me of, and I don't know. But there's something about her personality. It works really hot in this movie. It's great.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's serious. She's everything you want in this role.
The Mollies in this make me think of the Heathers. I don't know if you heard of that movie, Mike.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I think we've got the idea of that.
Yeah, they probably got the name from that type of clique. You know, and these very snobby, very wealthy, very very nasty attitudes.
And full of themselves. Yeah. We know the type. I grew up with them. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah. Not worth minding, if you ask me.
No.
And you're not.
And a waste of oxygen. Anyway, I can't think of anything else to say. This is getting into long. It's over an hour now. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Is there anything that you want to say? Is your tongue worn out?
No, I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact. I would have loved it if this would have been. There would have been some likable people in it, but aside from the lead character, I didn't like.
And her friend who helped at the time, she was nice.
She was nice. Aside from that, I don't like the her younger version of her mum. She was.
But she started to become nicer.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the movie.
Yeah. Even when she's not stupid. She was kind of an airhead, if that's the best word.
Well, a bit of a 16-year-old, Yeah.
I did like it when she bullied the horrible jock guy, when she actually pulled out some karate moves on him just to tell him to back off. Yeah. He was a very a nasty piece, that guy. Yeah. He didn't know when to keep his hands away.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that's Totally Killer. So you know where to find it. It's all over the internet. Well,
like I said, by the time you're listening to this podcast, it may be on other streaming sites and whatever. But as at the moment, it's Amazon Prime as rental.
I do hope to actually check out the other ones, that we have, and then release a month later on. So I hope you guys may join us there then to actually listen to us about those ones too. We have a long list of movies that are coming out, in October, last month, that will really interest you and possibly may quite interest you into watching too. I'm hoping to actually check out that Suburban Screams one.
Suburban Screams, yeah.
That one I wouldn't, even though that's an anthology, true to life stories.
They're really good.
Yeah, it's based on possibly true stories. I'm not sure.
Who's doing it?
John Carpenter.
That's right. Yeah.
Who's come out of retirement and has gone ahead to do his own new movie, or not movie. It's actually more of a TV series. Anyway, I hope it's worth watching. I also will be checking out some other stuff. I'm hoping to check out the new Hell House that's going to come out. I hope will be interesting worth watching too, because I really love the Hell House franchise that we last time we reviewed. It was pretty cool, and the final one was had a good closure on it.
Yep. Anyway, you want to tell us if people want to go to bed?
So that's our review tonight, guys. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you guys think of Totally Killer. So have a nice night, guys, and I'll see you guys for our next podcast, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.